because they have sold out Amica Mutual Pavilion. Big East opening night rolls on FS1 with the 6th-ranked Marquette Golden Eagles, the reigning Big East champions, visiting the Providence Friars. It is great to have you with us, everybody. They are rocking here in Providence. I'm John Phantom. My partner knows about this league all too well. It's Donnie Marshall. So when you open up conference play, what happens to the electricity in the air?
Yeah, the levels just go up, and especially in this building, this fan base is so knowledgeable. They're already booing Tyler Kolek, who's from the area. Marquette on the other side. They got something in store for people. This is a really good team. A lot of guys are back.
As the guys in LA said, the first Big East game of the Kim English era here at Providence. Starting lineup sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Marquette, the reigning Big East champions, because they had the best player in the conference last year, Tyler Kolek.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of John Stockton, a little bit of Jason Kidd in him as well. Great vision. He's unselfish. And Shaka Smart's been telling him, look, we want you to stay aggressive, be aggressive. You can live with some of his mistakes because you know what you're getting on the other end.
Kolek says he doesn't mind being booed. He relishes it. And this sellout crowd made them aware of what he was in for tonight. A double overtime thriller in the conference opener between these two teams last year. Providence won that game behind Rice Hopkins with 29 and 23. Friars in the white, Marquette in the navy. Our officials, James Breeding, Roger Ayers, and Tony Henderson.
And Shaka Smart's done this a lot, having Tyler Kolek be the two guard, not necessarily starting the offense early.
Cam Jones fouled by Pierre. Shaka Smart talking to his team this morning, and he said, look, there's a target on our backs now. We have to be road ready.
Yeah, they're not sneaking up on anybody. And obviously, you come here, you understand how important Tyler Kolek is, not just to his Marquette team, but growing up in this area, not too far away from here in Cumberland. So he understands and he knows how to give his team that message of, you got to be ready for everything. We're not sneaking up on anyone anymore.
How about this kid, Cam Jones?
Yeah, he is special. He really is. I would say probably maybe a little bit underrated in terms of everyone outside of this program, Marquette, because he's like the third or fourth guy that's talked about when you bring Marquette up.
Devin Carter back in for Providence and hits it off the window.
A really nice job. Even the sneaking down low, but the high finish so no one can block the shot.
Carter and Corey Floyd both out of Providence's most recent game against Sacred Heart, back tonight. Marquette still without Stevie Mitchell, out the third straight game with a hamstring. 8 on the shot clock for David Joplin. Bryce Hopkins stood him out, but it'll stay with the Golden Eagles.
Joplin, Hopkins, that's going to be a great matchup to watch tonight.
On the other side of this matchup, 35-year-old, youngest high major coach in the country, Kim English. What impresses you about him?
Just a new energy. He's letting guys play free because I think he's trying to figure out who they are, and they're trying to figure out who he is as a coach as well.
David Joplin knocking that one down.
Say anytime you have a new coach, you're listening to everything, as opposed to, when you've heard the same voice for so long, you just kind of let things go in one ear and out the other. I don't think that's happening with Kim English. They're all soaking it up, every player on the floor for him.
Shot clock down to 7. Here's Jaden Pierre. 4 general for this Providence team. Nice find to Oduro.
And that's one of the pieces, Jaden Pierre, who is getting an extra opportunity. Kim English said a lot of coaches called him in the league to say, you got to keep this kid around.
He was able to retain several of those pieces, close to 50% of the Friars' production back. Marquette with close to 90%, and Cam Jones is a big part of it.
Cam is just so good with the basketball. He really has an intelligence on the floor with and without the ball you don't see from a lot of college guards.
Hopkins. The 3 with a rebound for Ticket Gaines.
Yeah, he's got to be able to do that, I think, to make those shots from there, Hopkins, in order for this team to to be successful.
Now Pierre takes off again, off to Gaines. Hopkins with the offensive board. This was a theme last year. The Friars' own Marquette on the glass. Gaines. Another battle for it.
And they get in those situations because
Doplin. Providence on the glass.
Oso's going to switch out, and now you got a little guy down low trying to defend and box out.
Gaines was denied. That's Chase Ross. But Carter gets it back. Devin Carter.
Sometimes when you get early in these games, you try to bring the house down with those long shots. Sometimes you got to get downhill to try to get those officials to call the game the way you're going to play. If you're settling for jump shots early, you're never going to create the tempo that you want when you're at home.
Energy alive in this place.
It really is. There aren't a lot of buildings like this in the Big East.
Pierre.
I still think you can't keep trying to find your feel from three. You can see that Marquette's doing a great job of laying off of guys and really begging them to shoot it.
Tyler Kolek came ready.
Other thing I like about Tyler Kolek is that he's a little more chirpy. I love that. I love when he lets people know you can do that when you're holding the home team to a goose egg on 5 attempts.
Fade pass for Oduro and a turnover, taking us to a timeout.
Well, you know the energy is going to be here in the building, and a lot of it is generated because of the hometown kid, Tyler Kolek, knocking it down and letting them know. Splash.
Shoot, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. The Marquette Golden Eagles starting their Big East title defense tonight. Up 5 early on Providence, and this Marquette program has been led by, he's always had a chip on his shoulder. How about that? Tyler Kolek, some pictures from him growing up in Cumberland, Rhode Island.
How about that? Born in 2001. As a fan, used to come to these games growing up. It was the Marshawn Brooks, Bryce Cotton days. There's his dad. Were you born? Were you even alive then?
Yes.
Were you? Okay.
Barely.
Just a puppy.
Well, his dad, Kevin, and his high school coach, Dwayne Pina, at St. George's. Dwayne walked in here, Donnie, close to an hour before Kolek arrived for his shoot-around. That's how much of a friendship they have. Kevin said he knew when Tyler was 7 and 8, and he was playing 2-3 levels up and trash-talking people. Kevin's like, this kid's not going to be denied. He hasn't.
I guess his dad had some words, too, knew the lingo of the game in the park and in the gyms as well. Learn a lot from your dad, especially when you're following him around the games and in the gym. I just like the fact that he's learned how to take over games at times.
Ighodaro's learned that too with his big performances at Maui. Oduro that time defended him.
The great
thoughts early on Providence's offense.
Yeah, I just think too many three-pointers. They shoot 32% as a team, and again, you want to take good shots, but you're letting a good defensive team like Marquette off the hook when you settle early.
If that changes, Oduro was doubled to the corner. Gaines.
And a better shot, only because all eyes were in the post.
And now Oduro with the defense.
Really nice job without fouling.
Carter.
Again, I think that's an opportunity. You got numbers. A couple things you can do. Get yourself to the rim, get yourself settled in, get to the foul line possibly.
Kolek and one.
And then they come right back down and make you pay for it. I don't think you can continue if you're Providence to let Marquette off the hook when you have numbers. And also, you're letting the refs off the hook as well. This is awesome pass. Ticket catches it, never brings it down. Catches it right at the chest and shoots it from there. Beautiful catch and release, but a really good pass out of the post. Oduro.
You talk about Kolek knowing when to switch it up into the scoring gear. 28 points against Texas a couple weeks ago in the Big East Big 12 battle. Oduro is just checked in for the Friars. Hopkins with authority, Bryce Hopkins.
And that's over a 6'11" Ben Gold. So it's there, the opportunities are there. You'll always be able to shoot threes. That to me sometimes is taking the easy way out.
Ighodaro on an island with Oduro. In and out. And an over the back call on Ben Gold.
And this is a chance for Bryce Hopkins to really dominate. You know, Shaka Smart, when he goes to the bench, he's waiting for those next guys to, like Gold and those guys, to come in and give that energy. This is just a man's finish. Remember the last time these two teams met, best game of Bryce Hopkins' career, 29 points, 23 rebounds.
Here's Pierre. The sophomore's really taking that next step and shows it right there.
The paint is so important for this Providence team. Off the dribble or throwing it in the post.
Kolek, he's been initiating, and he has come to play.
Those are shots you take in the park. That's when you know a guy's comfortable. Trying to prove a point here early.
8 early points for the reigning Big East Player of the Year.
Again, I just don't like it. Defense in front of you. Ball didn't move, didn't switch sides of the floor. Easy shot, you can take that anytime you want in the game.
Kolek off to Ighodaro, deflected. Back to the Friars because of Pierre.
Well, this is just a really nice job. Ighodaro, just a little brush screen, and then Kolek going to that strong hand. You got to try to get him, and not saying he can't score going the other way. You got to try to get him changing directions and going to his right hand.
You think the kid from Rhode Island is tired of losing in Providence?
And I think he heard the boos during the starting lineup. They were introducing the players, and this is how knowledgeable this fan base is. At least the side of the building that's behind us. They were booing it pretty good. Yeah, this is just power. Joplin, Gold, it doesn't really matter. He's going to put his head down and go right to their chest. He has to, especially to calm this game down a little bit for Providence.
You know this better than anybody. Describe being a visiting player in front of Providence faithful.
Yeah, you know, normally you just say you don't hear anything outside, but they know when to pick their spots in this building of when to yell at you. They're again, they're knowledgeable. They're just cunning fans. They know when it's quiet, when to yell at you, what to yell at you. They know how to hit you in the right spot. Right in the gut sometimes with their words.
Sean Jones could not connect. And again, the Friars come up with a stop.
I like this. Take your time a little bit. Switch sides of the floor. See how they react to a post up.
Jewell, the dynamic freshman, attacking. Hopkins with the offensive rebound. Jones with it.
But a great opportunity. You got a second chance inside. You haven't been getting that when you're shooting long threes.
That went off the shoe of Corey Floyd Jr., who was just checked in. He missed the last game for the Friars with a leg injury. Stays with Marquette.
That's what I talked to Shaka Smart about before the game. You know what? The games that they lost, they got destroyed on the glass. Wisconsin is one of those games. Obviously, they're trying to battle. So anytime you play against a Purdue team, you know it's going to be a dominant force inside. But the backboards is where it's going to matter in this game, because you know what Providence has. No matter who's on the sideline, these players always seem to dominate the glass.
Said it, out rebounded by 15 at Wisconsin. Their last loss as Jones is a little bit long. And Providence up 5 on the glass early in this one. Ticket game. Swipe your ticket.
You got a little momentum. You're warmed up. three-point shot. You just want to take better ones.
Gold with the offensive rebound. Jones somehow got it from Sean Jones. Sean Jones to the floor, and a foul is called in the corner on Carter.
Well, they call him big ticket gains because he comes up with big plays at the right time. Big three there. We got a good one, folks.
Providence has its first lead of the night, up 2 on number 6 Marquette. Let's go in the huddle in his Big East debut in English.
When we score, I want us to forget about this crowd right now. Right, we're too good. We want too much to score and worry about the no. We're on them.
I love it. Look, you can't try to be cute. Just play basketball. I agree with that. And sometimes coaches see those things early in the games, and that could be part of the reason why we saw them start 0 for 5, Providence. They're shooting those threes. They're looking for those home run plays so the crowd can get into it. It's a great point by Kim English. Play basketball. Play your style of basketball.
We were talking at shoot-around with Kim English this morning. Now, you get this. The other Big East men's basketball coach, the other 10, began this season with a combined 4,845 games of experience leading a program. Here, Kim English is, after 2 years at George Mason, now leveling up, and he said, look, I'm not concerned about all the experience that Rick Pitino, Ed Cooley, and company have in the Big East. I'm living in this moment, and I have to get the most information possible to prepare my team for these moments.
I mean, I don't know if, and a lot of that sometimes to me is just, it's overrated. Okay, there have been coaches who have won national titles in their first or second year coaching in that first seat, had a lot of success, league titles. So I understand what he's saying. It's one game at a time, one play at a time. That's where he's really, really good. And this is where he's been really, really good as well. I know there's times teams want to try to put Oso at the foul line, but the last 2 games, he's shooting the lights out.
Back-to-back 20-plus point performances for Ighodaro.
He's 15 of, well, now 15 of his last 20 from the foul line.
Shaka Smart, so complimentary of him this morning, saying, when you've got a chess piece like Ighodaro, he just makes matchups a nightmare for the opponent.
He just does everything so well. And you'll see this team with him starting the offense a lot. You know, point forward, point center, whatever you want to call him. And that's how much trust Shaka Smart has in him.
Carter off to Barron. Barron, who's coming off a big game.
Just a better play. Now, the ball goes one side of the floor and it switches sides. Instead of dribbling down one side and just pulling up, it's a bang-bang play. Makes the defense have to turn and find the ball.
Rich Barron was 14 against Sacred Heart over the weekend. Best performance thus far. Cam Jones is on a roll. Half a dozen.
Yeah, that's playing against one of the best defenders in the country. Making it look so easy with the offhand.
Deflection by Sean Jones.
Yeah, you don't want to mess around with the ball with Sean Jones. I mean, he is like a man possessed every time that ball's in front of him.
Marquette averages 32 deflections per game. Barron with 2 on the shot clock. Boy, just in the nick of time.
I mean, he had to make the pass. It was risky, but shot clock running down. Had to thread the needle, and Lloyd, nice job wrangling it and finishing.
How about this first 10 minutes? Joplin with the runner.
Yeah, that's the other part of what's going to help Barron stay on the floor, is trying to get some stops defensively. You can make buckets on one end, but you're going to have to show your coach and your teammates that you can get a stop as well when there's a guy in front of you.
Punch for punch early in Rhode Island. These two played a double overtime thriller last year. Shot clock is at 5. Barron, the freshman. Rich Barron with the floater and the rebound to Jacqueline.
That ball stayed in the middle of the floor. That's the problem. And that's exactly where Marquette wants that ball to be.
Here is the quick Sean Jones. Joplin, reigning Big East Sixth Man of the Year. A little bit short, and that's an over the back on Ighodaro, his first.
It almost looked like he pulled the chair out from under Haynes. Yanked the chair out from under him within a minute.
You ever had that happen to you?
Well, maybe not to me, but maybe I've actually.
Oh, the other way around.
Look, I'm guilty. I got to be honest.
Look at you being truthful.
Doesn't happen a lot, so pay attention.
Oh, a big collision. And it is an offensive foul, but it looks like Carter got more of the pain.
They may have to look at this. They may have to go to the monitor and look at this.
He's immediately getting tended to. Getting a towel on that lip.
Look like right in the middle of your screen. That's a tough one there. I think that it was a shove, and then it was like. Man, I don't. The arms that were up in the air were just Devin Carter's, but I'm not sure. I think the collision looked worse than it was. It didn't look flagrant from those angles.
Roger Ayers, Tony Henderson, James Breeding, our crew. And now Breeding's going to take a look at it himself. Carter, Donnie, and Jeans are there. Tim English says it. His toughness is second to none.
Already dealing with a little bit of a back issue. That can't help when you hit bulldozed like that.
Comes Roger Ayers to tell us what happened.
That's just a regular foul. I mean, I don't want to sound cliche, John Fan, but this is Big East basketball, man. Look, it's Big East basketball. There were no hands thrown, nothing above the head other than someone's head hitting someone else's mouth. Big East basketball, Fanta. It's what it is, man.
A little bit of blood play on, and Carter's right back in. Son of Anthony, who's now on the bench with the Memphis Grizzlies, with the Miami Heat. He doesn't miss any time.
Oh, and he's worked his tail off all summer, shooting the three ball as well.
And that's the legal screen.
And this is what happens for Shaka Smart. Seen it a few times this season when he goes to his bench for those guys, not only one, to bring the same energy, but the same intelligence. No, you have to get there and then trust that Kolek can come off of the screen. Get there. If he doesn't, he's going to make something happen.
Carter staying in the game.
Good D. I love that action offensively, but that's really good defense.
Fade pass to Oduro with 7 on the shot clock. Just Oduro all muscle.
Yeah, I love that about Oduro. He keeps it simple down there. Scored over 1,300 points. JMU.
Woo! Oso on a pogo.
He just does it effortlessly. He really does. The thing you gotta love about Marquette is when a big play happens on the other end or a missed play, they never get out of pocket. They're never too up, never too down. Look at this.
Pass was picked off by Pierre. The reigning Big East champs for a reason, these Golden Eagles. Pierre left open. Providence just 3 of 11 from downtown.
Jaden Pierre shooting 41% from the three-point line this season. Not a bad shot for him.
Pierre is active defensively.
He's playing more free, I think, than anyone on this team that has come back. Really looks like he's enjoying the game this year.
And that was key to their signature win of the season when they blew out Wisconsin. Eight on the shot clock. Hopkins.
Ball stays in the middle of the floor. That's where Marquette's really good. They're in position to rebound. They contest.
Kolek on an island.
Great defense.
Kolek. He knew he missed it, and the offensive rebound to Ross. Ighodaro. They just set him up in isolation. He's long.
Love how Oduro runs that ball down. Takes his time with the basketball. Make sure he finds his guards.
Pierre with a head of steam. It will stay with the Friars.
Well, Oso Ighodaro knows how to read and react off of Kolek straight down the line. There's nothing you're going to do about that.
We've got a good one in the Big East opener between Providence and Marquette. Friars up 2 on the Golden Eagles, and that's been a theme. When these two teams meet, there seems to be drama. As we take a look at the last 3 battles in particular. A couple seasons ago, a blizzard postponed the game a day, a 2-point affair. Conference opener last year, double OT, 5-point game, and then Marquette got revenge. Cam Jones and Tyler Kolek combined for 40 in the most recent meeting.
Yeah, it's really been a wonderful matchup, and they're not. Sometimes those good matchups come when teams are very similar. And this is a Providence team who, in the Ed Cooley years, they wanted to out-tough you. They wanted to beat you up. If they weren't playing well, they try to be just more physical with you. And Marquette, Dr. Smart knows he has some tough players, but they're not going to beat you up. They're going to beat you to the ball. They're going to beat you to the floor, trying to beat you to the glass, beat you to an open spot. So with that, those two things sometimes, they don't mesh, and that's how those good games, that's what those good games are made of at times.
Take a look at the headliners from this one thus far. What would be your lead storyline?
I think for Providence, off to a slow start, really done a nice job of recovering, listening to Kim English tell them how to switch sides of the floor with that basketball and move it.
Shot clock is at 5. Into the hands of Hopkins, had 26 over the weekend, but loses it here. And with 1 on the shot clock, Providence will have an inbounds.
It's interesting because there's no more. Remember how everything, whenever a guy fell to the floor, was a flop one way or the other? Those are gone. I don't understand that. It's just no more flops. How does it happen?
Get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, please, John. I need answers.
1 second on the shot clock for now. Gaines. It's a shot clock violation.
Tough one, just slipped out of his hand, but you have to give Marquette a lot of credit out of a timeout, understanding where that ball was going to go, who it was going to go to, and they covered it.
Kolek with 8 early on.
A nice job by Devin Carter making him go back to his right. Hasn't scored going right yet in this game.
Chase Ross is off, and Marquette just 1 of 7 from 3. Gaines, he's been hot. Ticket came to play.
Love that. In transition, Devin Carter doing a nice job, not over-dribbling, kicking that ball ahead. No one there to get in front of Gaines.
Jones is short. Gaines came into tonight 14 threes on the whole year, but 7 of them came in 1 game. He's got 3 triples here, and they give it away. cold-blooded.
That's when they're so patient. That shows you an understanding of who you're playing with. The whole thing, know your personnel. Dribbles down, finds the big, pops back out. That's pretty basketball right there.
Carter buries it.
And we talked about it. He's really worked hard on that three-point shot. Coming into the night, he's about 36% or so.
And here they come.
It's a tough building also for the home team too, because they hear the fans and they want the roof to come down.
Carter foul going up.
So there's a tendency to try to make big plays when you really don't need it. You understand what these fans are going to do if they see a big three or a dunk or even an and one, but this is a really smart play, good cut. Rouse coming in just a little bit late. This is another one of those spots that working on your game in the summer shows up. He's about, to me, Devin Carter, this is, if I had to pick my nits, this would be one. He has such a nice touch and a great work ethic. Shooting, 65, 66%. He's better than that.
66 on the year, to your point, 1 of 2 on this trip.
Because those in conference play, you know that those free throws are going to win you a lot of games, and they're going to lose you some as well.
Foul on Pierre, that is his second. So Providence's point guard with 2 fouls, with 4 and change to go in this first half, and Kim English getting notified by his staff.
Well, he's been aggressive. 2 or 3 steals. Have to just back up just a little bit, get a little bit of breathing room. You need him on the floor.
Stays in for now. Cam Jones just keeps moving, Donnie.
Yeah, and Oduro, I don't think is, look, he's played a lot of basketball, but drop coverage in Big East play is much different than it is when you're playing non-conference or you're at a mid-major. It's just, you got to be more proficient when you're a big in your drop coverages.
Corey Floyd Jr. was stopped in his tracks. Shot clock is down to 8. Again, they've gone late into the shot clock. Deflected by Kolek, it's down to 3, and Marquette's defense works again.
All set up by the deflection, though. And this is beautiful right here. Where's the coverage? Look at Oduro. Back up, back up, back up. It's too late now, and even if he's not on that side and that's a miss, Oso's there on the other side. We got a really good game here in Providence. Chilly outside, but it's warm in the air.
We look forward to that, Rob Stone. Providence up 4 on number 6, Marquette. Just over 3 to go in this opening half, and Devontae Ticket Gaines has been hot.
Yeah, the spacing, beautiful shot there. The catch, the release, didn't bring the ball down. Knows how to find those corners. I love the 3-ball corner pocket. I think when you've been a guy who, if you've struggled, those corner threes really get you out of that. This is a guy who scored. He's been up and down. He scored 21 versus Wagner, goose egg versus Oklahoma. And when he was 2 years at Tennessee before GMU, he rarely shot threes. But since then, he's around 35% for his career. I really believe this guy, Ticket Gaines, is what you would call a force multiplier. You're better with him than without him. 3 and D, whatever you want to call him, a two-way player. Got a lot of stuff in his bag, and it's just a wonderful addition for the Friars.
And English has told him, we can't have you lose your confidence now. Keep shooting it despite that recent slump. He listened to his coach. Ighodaro lost it.
I think Ighodaro's a different player when the offense goes through him versus playing one-on-one. And Bryce Hopkins he's a grown man in that body guarding Ighodaro.
Now he puts it on the floor, but Chase Ross was waiting for it. Ross flying and getting fouled.
I love Chase Ross's energy. Every game, it's at the same level. I call him a disruptor. He does a little bit of everything. He'll grind you down on defense, as you saw there. He's always waiting to pick a pocket. Also, Ross is one of those guys, he can make a big play late game for you as well.
And his role gets magnified with Stevie Mitchell still out with the hamstring injury.
Yeah, gets a nice opportunity. First career start was against Notre Dame because Mitchell was out. He had eight rebounds at a guard position. And that's, in that game against Notre Dame, that's big. Especially for a team who, in their losses, they struggle controlling the glass.
At 12 and 6, came off the bench. And Marquette's win over then #1 Kansas at the Maui Invitational.
Again, you talked about it earlier. This is a team that leads the Big East in steals per game, almost 9, because of guys like that.
Gaines is now fouled on a 3.
And I didn't think it was a great shot. I know sometimes you get going, it's a heat check, and you're feeling pretty good. But even with that, you got to stay away from a three-point shooter who's already got it going a little bit. Top of your screen here. And your momentum is just leaning that way. If you're David Joplin, nothing but bad's going to happen in that situation.
That's Joplin's second foul. Gained 71% on the line on the year.
Joplin, Gold. We saw Lowry earlier. Those guys off the bench have to be better for Shaka Smart. They have to be efficient. They have to be more intelligent in their movements. Especially, again, because you're without Stevie Mitchell, those guys are so important.
A dozen for Devontae Gaines. And Providence with their largest lead of the night. And another turnover, the 6th by the Golden Eagles.
Those are pro bono turnovers, John Fanta. Those are free. You can't give away the ball like that on the road in conference play.
They swing it around the horn to Garway Duel. Rebound by Kolek. Gold, extra pass to Ross.
It's a big possession here.
A foul on Gold. He was hanging on to Oduro. And now Ben Gold has 2 fouls. So he just came in for Joplin. And now Marquette's 2 power forwards each have a pair.
You have to be efficient. You have to be more intelligent. You know, when you're coming off the bench and you know you have your regular numbers, you may be able to take a chance like this. But when you have to play 5, 7, 8 more minutes, like Gold may have to play, because you're without one of your better guys, you just can't make those plays. And they need Gold on the floor anyway. And he's a better athlete, I think, than people recognize on the offensive end. We know he can shoot it. Very mobile. He needs to stay on the floor.
Oduro with Marquette and the penalty hitting the front end. Ken English loves Josh Oduro.
I mean,
he said he's the ultimate class act as well for this program.
And then you get him here, he's shooting 85% from the foul line. Like, that's exactly what every coach wants for their big, to be able to knock down free throws. Because again, a lot of games are going to be won and lost at that stripe.
Josh getting married over the offseason. His wife Carolyn, they're expecting a baby. Great story. Backdoor for Cam Jones. Silencer.
That just knows where to be. Just hides out. Again, because we're talking about Kolek, because we're talking about Oso Ighodaro, he's like the forgotten one at times, and he's the leading scorer on this team.
Hopkins.
Talk about shooting with confidence. He's really got to start making some shots from downtown there, and he can do it. He's just got to, between the ears for Bryce.
Here's Cam Jones again. Shot clock is down to 10 for Ross. Carter is everywhere for Providence. It's at 7. Back to Ross. Attacking. Straight up defense by Oduro. up here, and the arrow is with Providence.
Look, Kim English is at midcourt, calling for a timeout. He's yelling, there's a foul. You got to watch what you wish for. This is one thing that Kim English is going to learn. If you're asking for fouls down here, you got to understand they're going to call them at the other end as well. And right now, this is Big East basketball. He's just got to be careful. You don't want to complain too much. I love the way this is going for Providence. This is their style. May have been a foul, but there could have been a couple called at the other end. It's a balancing act, and that's one of the things that Kim English, look, he's played in the league, he's been around, he's been a great assistant, they've won games, but in conference play, you've got to understand, you can't have it both ways. So right now, this game is being played at a pace and that at an aggression level that favors Providence, in my opinion.
In English, a second-round draft pick to the Pistons in 2012. Enjoyed a couple of years in the league. He is a Rick Barnes disciple. Donnie Rick is revered here in Providence, Rhode Island. He gave Steve Napolillo an instant blessing. Hire Kim English.
Yeah, it's nice when you have young guys, too, coaching young players, especially you talk to some of these coaches, Coach K, Jay Wright, guys who have, even Coach Boeheim, who say it's a young coach's game now. It's really turning to that. He's one of those guys that really knows how to relate to his players.
He'll play him, too. Turnover.
Can't float it. Gotta be a bullet in there.
Ross, Carter just stood him up.
And you got to be solid with the ball. You see how the game's being played and being called.
Dual extra pass. Devin Carter.
What a beautiful display of basketball. Extra pass.
On the other end of the floor, Chase Ross getting helped up right now, and he cannot get up. He's holding his right ankle. Ighodaro tried to pull him up, and he went immediately back down. And he is having trouble right now putting power on that leg. You hate to see that, Donnie. They're already without Stevie Mitchell tonight.
And that right there is their Swiss Army knife. That's Shaka Smart's do-it-everything player. I mean, he really does. See, right there, it almost looks like he just jams it as he comes down. It's just tough to see, but you're right. For a team who's already down one of their best players.
Ross was filling in for Stevie Mitchell for a third consecutive game. So here you have a 9-point game. As you see Mitchell there, impact junior, and it feels like right now, Donnie, the best prescription for Marquette may be to get into the locker room in the half.
Well, they're right there, and Providence has done a really nice job of moving the basketball better. You know, you think about the way they started this game to where they are right now. They've done it on defense, but they've done it with the extra pass as well. Really, really nice job. 9 assists for Providence on 12 made field goals, and none better than the one we just saw. When you have a freshman making an extra pass, dual to Carter, that tells you that, one, he understands his role, but two, he knows that you got to give it to a veteran to kind of get you going in this game.
Ticket gains, Devin Carter, a combined 5 for 10 from downtown.
Yeah. Well, when they settled in a little bit, the ball went to the second and third sides of the floor, made the defense shift a little bit, and now this is a Marquette team that switches. Sometimes they'll switch all 5 positions. You can catch them off guard, but you got to do it with that ball swinging sides of the floor.
A 5.9 exactly second differential between shot and game clock. Jones with dual glue to it.
Got to back up a little bit, though. That's just a little bit too much. That's a little bit too much. I can see it coming. It's a little too much by the freshman.
And Kim English said exactly what you just said to him.
You got to understand, again, you give him a little, then you back up. You give a little, and you back up, and it's a veteran. He knows how to play into that. So it's just, that's just lack of knowledge. That's all that is. But you know what? Now he's learned. And we'll see how he takes that information and what he does with it.
Marquette is in the single bonus, so this is a 1-and-1 for Jones. And he missed it. So it turns out okay, and Providence can try to make it double digits against the number 6 team in the country. Oduro with 5. Devin Carter with 3. Carter is fouled. Whoa.
Wow. So uncharacteristic of the guy that has been called a savant. I mean, this is from the logo. There's no reason to foul that far away. Cam Jones is going to want that one back. Especially in the half, the way that Providence got their confidence and the injury.
If you're Shaka Smart, what are you telling your team?
At halftime, you're telling them, listen, settle in. We got to play smarter. They just have to play more intelligent. That's the second time they've contested a three-pointer lunging in like that.
The reigning Big East champs. With 1.9, here's Jones with a heave. The reigning champions of the Big East are down by 11 at the break.
Yeah, this is a Providence team that started 0 for 5. What a transition they've made. Great job. Kudos to Kim English to get his team settled down and to get this building behind them.
Devontae Gaines, Devin Carter with a combined 23 and 5 triples. Providence enjoying an 11-point lead, looking for a top 10 win. After these messages, we'll send it to LA for the Chiefs halftime report. Welcome back to Providence. The Friars up 11 on the reigning Big East champion, 6th-ranked team in the country, the Marquette Golden Eagles. Welcome back courtside, everybody. John Fanza, Donnie Marshall with you. So your overall thoughts on the first 20 minutes?
Yeah, I thought it played right into Providence's hands. It was an aggressive game. The refs let them play a little bit. They understand it's conference play, but it really, to me, came down to 2 guys in that first half. And one on... And besides the play at the end of the half there, the foul on Carter, Cam Jones has done a really nice job. I don't know if there's a player in college basketball that is leading his team in scoring that scores quiet points. That's exactly what he did, 13 on 5 of 10 shooting quietly. And then Devontae Gaines, really nice job. 12 points, in 16 minutes. Was efficient, 3 of 7, made his free throws. Really, it was all about those 2 guys.
Let's take a look at tonight's star comparison, sponsored by Jeep. There's only one.
Yeah, I just, Cam Jones is going to have to take over a little bit. I think Tyler Kolek is going to have to figure out how he's being played defensively, but Providence can't lose sight of Cam Jones along that baseline. He's just too prolific.
How is Kolek being played defensively?
Well, they're going under all the picks, and he's not stopping behind and shooting threes, and now what they're doing is they're meeting him on the other side. This is where they struggle, though. When he goes to his right, there's really no play there, 2-man game with Oso Ighodaro.
Here is Kolek with the crossover. That's how you start the second half.
Yeah, you clear that side out and let him go attack the mismatch. But when he goes right, there really is no 2-man game with Oso. It's blown up. It's gone. More comfortable going to his left and Oso rolling.
How about Chase Ross is toughing it out? Ankle injury in the first half. He's trying to play right now.
I mean, look at that body, man. He's chiseled.
Shot clock at 5. Take it, Gaines. And Marquette starts with a stop, and now Ross with that ankle.
it. They were letting them play physically the entire half, and now you start the second half, and there's a little tic-tac foul. I don't like it. It sends the wrong message to not only the teams, but the building. I don't even think he needed to. There was no advantage there. It was a little bump, and really, you could call that every single time in this game.
Kolek, short, got his own miss, and fights that in. The reigning Big East Player of the Year has a dozen.
Kolek got to be careful, Turpin. You know, you're talking to the refs. You don't want to do that, especially the way the game's being called.
Marquette, in their most recent loss to Wisconsin, as Ighodaro commits a foul, they were down big at the half in Madison and put together a big surge. Came up just short, but they start this second half.
See what happened here, John? This is a terrific play by Kolek, just staying with it. Pierre just doesn't want to pick up that next foul, but at the other end, maybe a little makeup call.
Perhaps.
And for the record, another ticky-tack foul.
Oduro. Double. Hopkins.
Got to make it. I know he's really struggling from there, but that's every make he has from there is a confidence builder. He's just such a good player, Bryce Hopkins. He's got to be able to make a couple of those a game.
Kolek. He went all the way out of bounds.
So now what happens is when you start to talk to Roger Ayers and you're chirping at him the play before, these refs are human too. You know, you can't yell at a ref and say stuff to him and then expect him now to give you calls. They're humans as well.
James Breeding, Roger Ayers, Tony Henderson, Jaden Pierre. Kolek, stop, pop, boom. 7 straight for Tyler Kolek.
It'll be interesting to see if he does that in the half court when that two-man game happens at the top.
You said you were looking for him to hit that next gear. Well, quite a start to the second half. Carter hoists.
Every time Bryce Hopkins drives baseline and turns his back, they're coming to double. They're coming to get it out of his hand or trying to steal it. He's got to be aware of that. Great recognition that time.
Jones travel.
It's a really, really nice job. You drive, the double's coming, someone's open, and Devin Carter steps right into it. Read and react, basically. You know, you read what your offensive teammate is doing down there with the ball, and you react to it.
It wasn't that you had an issue with the early threes, it was the quality of those threes. Oduro, and now that opens up the interior.
Yeah, that time he caught the ball and went. The last time he had it, he put a couple dribbles on it, and then now they come for the double.
That's off Kolek's leg.
And that's Devin Carter basketball right there. That's where he is at his best. Talk about deflections at those long arms. He's got those things that you just can't teach. This is something you're born with. Sometimes you do get it from your daddy. Not just your mama.
Oduro. Devin Carter. Not this time.
A little late. I thought Oduro turned, should have found Carter moving in.
Kolek. Back to duel.
Really nice job by the young player.
Hopkins trying to get going, but Bryce Hopkins just 1 for 7 from the floor.
And only 4 points. Surprising they have a lead like this with him not scoring but 4 points.
Offensive foul taken by Oduro. That is Ighodaro's third, and this place is wrapped up. A Amica Mutual Pavilion, where Providence is 44-3 in their last 47 games. There's only one. Welcome back to a sold-out Amica Mutual Pavilion on opening night of Big East Conference play. Providence up 9 on Marquette. And Donnie Marshall, we were looking at that last possession. Oso Ighodaro trying to create.
Yeah, and this we talked about in the first half. When he is facilitating, starting the offense, it goes through him, it's one thing, but one-on-one, he struggles a little bit, especially tonight. I once heard you don't get what you deserve, you get what you take. And right now, Marquette may feel like they don't deserve this, but they're getting hit on the chin because Providence is playing aggressively. Oduro, great job on the takedown low, and Oso Ighodaro is first in the Big East coming into this game in field goal percentage. At 67%, somewhere around there, 6th in the country. He's 1 of 4. There it is, folks. That, to me, is not just a bad shooting night. That is Providence understanding their scouting report and putting it in play on defense.
A seasoned big man on the other side in Josh Oduro.
Yeah, a guy who's been around. And I mean, it's not just him, obviously. The first 4 minutes of the second half, Marquette has 4 turnovers. The entire team for Providence defensively is on the same page. They have to sustain that. Yeah, you can't turn your back into, when you pivot, you got to pivot away if you're Oduro. You can't pivot into the player that's chasing. This is an easy call for the officials. Take a look here. It's a reverse pivot right into Jones. That's illegal. Easy call.
Second foul on Oduro. Jones, teardrop. Here comes Carter. John Fanta, Donnie Marshall with you. Opening night of Big East play. Butler beating Georgetown earlier. 2 games tonight, 3 tomorrow. Hopkins is trying to find it. Still can't.
I'd love for him to switch and go to that left hand there once he steps through. You bring that ball back to the defense, even though he's got the size on Kolek, but great defense by number 11 in blue on that play.
Kolek to Ighodaro, and the foul on Oduro. That's his 3rd.
So that's a great example right there. When Tyler Kolek goes left, that 2-man game is almost impossible to stop. Feels comfortable. Take a look. Eyes, vision, and that retreating defense is really hard for them, and on the weak side to cover in. It's not the same potency when he goes right. Really good play there to slow this game down and try to score with the clock stop.
Rafael Castro, backup big man, will come in for Oduro, who has those 3 fouls. So a moment to watch now with 14:56 on the clock. Ighodaro, you take a look at those free throw figures. Really strong 2 years ago, but getting to the line more now.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how Providence uses Castro. First time he's been in the game all night. So, you know, you're sitting there an hour and change. Watching is one, but the stiffness is there. And then how Marquette attacks Castro with Gold at the other end.
Never thought of that. Been sitting and waiting and waiting. Not more.
I don't care how old you are, it's hard to just get up and start running.
Hopkins taking contact and hitting.
Really nice job. Providence needs a steady diet of that. It settles things down. On this end, that ball has to move if you're Marquette.
It does.
Yeah.
Cam Jones to Sean Jones. Then Gold with the offensive rebound. Kolek off to Sean Jones again. They just can't cash in. 3 of 12 from 3.
That was a nice job. You can't give a team as good as Marquette extra opportunities with those offensive rebounds. It's too good.
Ticket games. Kolek to Sean Jones. announcer.
Yeah, just because you missed a couple, you got to put that, your short-term memory has to just be on point. You got to just be like, I don't care what happened. For a player like that, again, Shaka Smart has a couple guys like Jones that just keep coming after you. They do so many little things to help get you over the hump.
Foul away from the ball here on Cam Jones. His second. Ticket gains with 4 triples on the night.
Yeah, this is just a nice drive, they call it. You drive one side and then the opposite offensive player drifts to the corner. Ticket Gaines loves those short corner threes. Jones is going to have to step up. Gonna have more plays like that.
Providence taking a timeout. The Friars trying to open Big East play with a bet.
I'm like Ron Burgundy here, the anchorman. I'm reading my notes instead of looking. It's good to look at the screen when your producers put it up there. You should read the screen, John. Just let me make a note to this.
Well, Olivari is part of your newcomers to watch, and partner, you synced me right up to say Xavier takes on Joel Soriano in St. John's tomorrow night, FS1 7 Eastern.
And Butler starts their conference play out with a win over Georgetown. Thad Matta's done a really good job, and you know, I think he's got those guys playing the way that we remember Thad Matta's teams playing.
Donnie Burgundy, everybody.
I'm Don Burgundy.
Kolek. Castro's now stepped in, and look what he does. A rejection, and then the travel.
Again, Providence is getting, they're putting Marquette into positions that's making them very uncomfortable, but you know, this is a good matchup on the perimeter for Marquette, but once you get down here, and a lot of guys standing around once Kolek makes a move, and that's how you run into those problems. But great job by Castro of not fouling the smaller guard, and that was in his neighborhood down there.
11 turnovers forced by Providence. Marquette's TO margin is +6, -1 tonight. Oduro with the fake.
Oh, you got to go into the guys in the air. You can't avoid the contact. That's number 1 rule in Big East play. Absorb the contact. He's such a good free throw shooter.
5 on the shot clock. Devin Carter is big time.
David Special, you know what he gives this Providence team on defense, but the fact that he's shooting the ball so much better from 3 with the confidence, boy.
How about this Providence defense?
Devin Carter has taken over the leadership role of this team. Fighting through back issues, rotations tight, deep. Friars.
Kim English proud of his team's defensive effort. Providence up a dozen. Where's the scoring coming from? Devin Carter.
Yeah, he has really been their leader all season long. You can see his game has improved. He worked on it all summer, especially his three-point shooting has really come into these games as last season as a defensive stopper, an energy guy, and right in front of our eyes, he's turned into one of these, just an all-around player. And when you take shots like that, you have to be confident in the sobriety of your judgment. That's awesome when you can step back like that. You see that he believes in what he's doing out there.
And what's it tell you, Donnie, that on a night where their leading scorer and rebounder, a top 5 scorer in the Big East, Bryce Hopkins, only has 6.
Yeah, it's a testament to Kim English and how he's playing other guys around him. But at some point, you have to, again, implement sets for Bryce Hopkins, wherever that may be, and you have to continue to keep his confidence level. When you miss from outside, shooting jump shots, you lose a little bit of that confidence, but He's just too good, that young man right there, to not be involved in plays.
And pressure from Marquette.
Yeah, they want to mix it up and try to make Providence uncomfortable a little bit here.
On the shot clock. Corey Floyd Jr. back in the lineup tonight after missing last game with a leg injury. Short on the three, and Marquette comes up with a stop.
It's a really good defensive stop there out of a timeout. Now, how can they put it together? That's what Shaka Smart's been trying to get his guys to do. Get some type of fluidity on their offense.
Joplin is off. Devin Carter again. Oh my goodness! DC for PC.
Last year I would not have called him a two-way player, but now he's turning into one of those guys that can do a little bit of everything. Love to see the maturation of young players in college.
He has 20. Getting on some NBA draft radars. With a nasty dish for Hopkins to throw it down. Listen to Friars as Marquette calls time.
Boy, oh boy, we talk about keeping Bryce Hopkins engaged. What about this dime? Woo! Hands ready, threading the needle, the young fella. The upperclassman Hopkins, and that's one way to get him involved and keep him confident. And that's the last thing Marquette needed, not only because Providence keeps their confidence level up, but this building, once you get them, you know what this building's like? I might have said this to you before. It's like when you squeeze a tube of toothpaste and that toothpaste comes out, it's impossible to get the toothpaste back in the tube. That's how this building is. Once you get them up, they're up.
44-3 in their last 47 games. It is just staggering what this team has been able to do. And if they win this game tonight, it would be 40 home wins in the last 3 seasons. Nobody in college basketball has more than that.
Look, and coaches change, players change. So what's the constant? It's the fans. I mean, this building is terrific.
Chase Ross. Marquette has gone cold.
Look, it's that CHI Health Center in Omaha, and it's the AMP here in Providence, and everyone else is after that.
Hopkins with the rebound, and back to the Golden Eagles. So there's still 10:02 on the clock.
Plenty of time.
How do they start to form a response?
Well, like Marquette says, and Shaka Smart says, you got to get kills. That's 3 stops in a row. They're just missing layups. They're looking for contact. It's not there.
Pierre weaved all the way around and switched it.
How about that? Instead of jumping up and shooting it impossible, last year Pierre would have tried to shoot that ball.
This place is unhinged right now as Kolek is fouled.
It's such a great play by Pierre because, take a look at this, John. Last year he would have tried to finish this under the basket. There, takes his time, squares his shoulders, little mid-range jumper. Again, it's all about the maturation process. And this year he's getting a chance to play through some of his issues, some of his mistakes. 24 minutes a game. And he wasn't getting that last year because you got veterans as well. And again, nothing to do with the coach. It's the players in front of you. And now he's waited his turn.
Earlier you said it. Tim English fitting 2023 basketball. His youth. He'll get out and play these guys.
Yeah.
He played Pierre one-on-one over the summer to make sure he was going to keep him on campus. They developed a bond. And he said, when you're a sophomore, I understand that as your coach.
Yeah.
We'll play through the different things.
And look, make no bones about it. Ed Cooley is a phenomenal coach. Not a good coach, a great coach. But some of these players now have matured. They worked on their games. You know, sometimes you can't just say it's about the coach. It's about looking in the mirror and trying to make a change. And that's what a lot of these players in this Providence team who stayed have done.
Oduro lost it.
You got to move, though. That's Barron up top, just standing there. Rich Barron has to move to his big and make an outlet pass. Visible.
Joplin taking the contact and a blocking foul on Oduro. That's his fourth.
Yeah, just take a look. Again, it's a lot of young people know how to play the game. They can make shots, but right there, top of the key. You see that double going, you got to move over. Right now, Kolek is guarding two players, Barron and Floyd. Rich Barron has to know spacing, be an outlet for your big.
David Joplin tasked with that role, with Olivier Maxence Prosper rising all the way to the first round of the NBA draft, going to the Sacramento Kings. It meant that Joplin was going to have to step up for this team in the starting four slot.
Yeah, his energy is where it starts, and he brings that, and everything else after that is cake. Got great size.
Prosper, of course, with the Dallas Mavericks now. He got traded on draft night. Here's Hopkins. And on the shot clock. Double
To the ball.
down to 5. Floyd taking out 2 defenders, and that's a Marquette stop. Joplin. Ighodaro with a tap. Kolek. Contact and the foul. It's on Norman.
I think it's too early for those in transition three-pointers. You know, the fresh shot clock. Now, you're taught as a player, you get an offensive rebound and they're retreating to that three-point line. Go ahead, take a shot. But I thought in transition, Joplin could have waited, and even Tyler Kolek could have held onto the ball just a little bit. As soon as you get that pass from your point guard, you're like, I'm letting this thing go.
A year ago, Marquette came here, lost their conference road opener. They ended up going 16-2 in the next 18 Big East games and won the conference. This place has been a house of horrors for Marquette. Kolek to Norman and one. Golden Eagles with some life.
Yeah, and that's how you do it. You chip away. All the eyes are still going to be on Kolek driving to the basket. You can't fall asleep. On the other guys, really nice job probing. You see 2 white jerseys. Someone's going to be open. Drop it off. Bucket.
The 6th ranked team in the land, Marquette, down 14 in their Big East opener to Providence. Let's go in the huddle with Shaka Smart.
How's the ball movement been the last couple possessions? Good. All right, movement, get it to one side, attack. If it's not there, get it out, attack the other side. All right, multiple drives. You get a baseline drive, you get a cut, you finish. All right, that's a good shot job.
John, sometimes in a game like this, it's not necessarily what is being said, it's how it's being said. And I think Shaka Smart is really at a different level when it comes to communicating with his players than most coaches in college basketball. He asked them, how was the ball movement? He didn't yell down to them or at them and tell them how it was. He wanted them to figure it out. How's it been? And you could hear guys in the huddle saying, not good. So let's switch sides of the floor, and now he gets into the teaching moments. I love that about Shaka Smart and other coaches like that in this league, is that they just have a different way a nice way of communicating with their players. That's more responsive.
Within 13. Away duel. Devin Carter, Castro, Hopkins, and Gaines for Providence. Duel. Carter has had the big night, folks. 20 points. And takes the contact from Sean Jones.
And that's the other part of Devin Carter's game that we don't see a lot of. I'm sure we will. Is his ability to. He doesn't play around with the basketball. He puts it down and tries to get to a spot. Look at this. There's no, little hesitation inside out. Another hesitation just to get the defense to stand up. And that's a pro move right there.
Junior just continually evolving. Hopkins with the spin, and that produced the foul.
Gosh, he just makes moves with such force. I mean, this is a sturdy and forceful move that Bryce Hopkins makes. Avoiding the charge, spins off of two guys, the reach in there, but boy, he's just so powerful.
At the end of the day, it was never a denial about talent, Donnie. That's why John Calipari brought Hopkins in to Kentucky before he transferred here.
And this is a good matchup. He averaged 24 and 16 against this Marquette team last year. Devin Carter averaged 19 against them in 2 games last season. So whatever it is about the matchups seems to be working. If not for both of them tonight, at least one of them.
A Marquette team, again, that he played really well against that went 29-7.
Yeah.
Kolek off the heel. And it'll go back to Providence.
Those are shots that Kolek normally makes in the lane, but again, they're getting Kolek to try to make moves offensively. Offensive set starting, going to his right hand. Seems to have been working all night long for Providence.
You brought this up, non-conference versus when you get into the Big East. Different level of knowledge between coaches in this league when you're in the double round robin schedule.
Different scouting, players, different attention to detail.
Cool. Off to Castro with authority.
Really nice job by Castro. We talked about it. He's sitting for an hour and a half, gets in. Good job rebounding, taking up some space, finishing strong there.
Cool. Shot clock again down to 10. And a foul. Marquette is in the penalty.
This is a Providence team. New coach, a lot of new faces. But they're playing like they've been together for years. 16 assists for Providence on 21 made shots. And the other side, Marquette has 6 assists in this game. 6.
And Sean Jones. Foul on Trey Norman, rather. And that puts Marquette again in the penalty. So Ticket Gaines with those 15 points, missing the front end. Ian Carter with the combined 35 tonight. Marquette have any last surge at this deficit in them? Ross, how about this defense? Down to 5. Kolek beat it.
But I don't have a problem with that if I'm Providence because they used up so much clock. That shot clock was at about 4 or 5. The more they chew into that, the better it is for Providence with this big lead.
Devin Carter. And he didn't need up as much clock there, so Marquette gets it back.
Oh, and if you're going to take that shot, you got to use up much more clock.
Ross, he injured his ankle in the first half. He's played through it tonight. Kolek in his homecoming with 8. Cam Jones with 3, and that is the kind of night it's been from this Providence defense.
They have been on a string, John Fanta. One guy goes one way, he pulls another teammate, they communicate, they're switching, and they're switching up into guys. There's no lag in how they switch. Just take a look. Ticket Gaines stays down on the ground, and really that was the end of the play, but they had switched 3 times before Cam Jones caught that ball.
You're talking about an offense that ranks 12th in adjusted efficiency from KenPom. And the Friars have just shut it down as Gaines is fouled.
And you talk about getting shut down. Oso Ighodaro has not attempted a shot this entire half.
Wow. And he's coming off back-to-back 20-plus point performances, Donnie. There's some head-scratching elements to this night.
Well, listen, we know what, not just the Big East, but all conference play, what it can do to teams. And you don't have to look any further than what UConn did in conference play last year.
Yes.
But then thinking about where they got to after that. So, and that's not obviously the blueprint for trying to win a national title, but it just tells you how tough conference play can really be. And how these coaches dial in and they know weaknesses, they know tendencies of their opponents in conference play better than non-conference.
As Ighodaro's fouled by Castro. You just said it best. These Connecticut Huskies, all of their defeats coming against Big East competition, the 8 losses last year. Other than that, perfect when they were out of the league. Ighodaro heading to the line. It's also interesting, Donnie, because there was a big feature in The Athletic on Ighodaro early in the season about Shaka Smart describing him as the linchpin to the whole offensive operation. The numbers tonight show you what he means.
Yeah, we hear the saying a lot, as he goes, we go. There's about 3 players on this Marquette team that you could probably say that about and convince me that, yeah, you're probably right, but it would start, the first guy would be Oso. He would be the one that I would say he has to be in a good way for you to have a chance. Some other guys you could probably play around, but the numbers don't lie tonight.
And now Marquette having trouble in the foul column. 19 foul, that is Cam Jones' 3rd. One more 1-and-1 here for the Friars.
You know, I thought the way the half started, I thought not only did the players come out the same way they finished the first half, the officials, I thought, did a nice job of getting back to letting guys have their space, letting them play basketball. The best thing for an official, it's what every official wants, is to be forgotten that they're on the floor.
Bingo.
They don't want to be out on, they don't want you to remember that they ref that game. They want to be invisible out there. They've done that, I thought, in the second half.
Back-to-back missed front ends. Here's Ighodaro. That's normally his shot, but he's short.
That's his space right there, that little push shot. He doesn't miss those a lot. That's why he's shooting in the high 60s coming into tonight.
To Hopkins in isolation. Somehow got it to Garway Duel. Kolek with the rebound, but you got 3.5 minutes now, down 13. And Kolek will go to the free throw line after our timeout. Can Kolek and Marquette find any last gasp of magic while Providence seeks a top 10 win? We look forward to that, Rob. Mike DeCourcy had Providence on the right side of the bubble in his first bracket forecast that came out today. Friars up 13 on Marquette behind Evan Carter.
Well, Devin Carter has shown that this is his team. He's taken over, not just scoring, but doing so much at both ends of the floor. That was the play we're talking about with the young fella, Rich Barron, moving over to a spot that's just a veteran understanding spacing. 20 points for Devin Carter. And then Ticket Gaines following him up. 15 points, 28 minutes, and really got them out of a funk that they had started in that first half.
Game summary. Look, Donnie, Tyler Kolek has 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. But Carter's had that, Robin, with Gaines. For Marquette, it's been a different story.
Yeah, you know, it's a lot to put on a guy like Kolek when Oso Ighodaro is absent without permission. I mean, you got to have a good reason to be absent, and not in a game like this. You remember, John, you had to go to school when you were young. You had to, the next day you had to bring a note to tell why you were absent.
Yes.
Shaka Smart's going to look for a pink slip or yellow slip from Oso Ighodaro tomorrow and ask where he was tonight. But you got to give credit to Providence and what they did in the second half defensively as well. I don't think you can just sit here and say, hey, he missed, because he didn't really take any shots. I feel like you were never absent without permission. I feel like you always had a note if you ever missed a day of school.
For the most
part, you ever missed a day of school?
Yes.
No, I don't. I got it.
Donnie,
was it forged? You know,
it was for the first Thursday of the NCAA tournament.
No. that tracks, John. That tracks 100%.
March Madness flu, baby. Timeout called by the Friars. And all of a sudden, with 3:25 to go, it is an 11-point game.
Yeah, and the guys who can shoot the ball for Marquette, look, this game's not over until that thing shows zero if you're Providence, so you got to stay aggressive. And Kim English has to put his studs back in. The starters have to be back in the game and ready to finish this out. I don't put anything past Shaka Smart's group. Shaka Smart is a phenomenal coach, we know that. But late game, I guarantee you he's drawing up some good stuff right now for his team to do. But defensively is where it has to start for them.
We were talking about Mike DeCourcy's bracket forecast earlier. You'll hear from Mike on postgame. Here's a look. How about the top of the league?
Yeah, you and I had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I thought 5 maybe would have been the number, but so much. I mean, look at Butler. I'm not, Xavier and Sean Miller, his team too. You can't put it past any of these teams that we're talking about that are mid-table and higher.
Marquette with a net ranking of 7. UConn at 5. Creighton at 9. So 5, 7, and 9 in the net rankings out of the Big East.
Look, as much as UConn struggled in the Big East last year, they probably helped some teams in conference get into the NCAA tournament.
Opportunities knocked, and Providence has seized it thus far tonight. Shot clock is at 8. Pierre with 5. Off to Carter. To Oduro with 2. Oduro. Putback does not go for Hopkins, and we've got a whistle.
That's a foul.
And a foul is right. It's on Chase Ross, and Marquette's in the double penalty.
That's a tough one there because the player stopped when they heard the buzzer go off. I know you're told play the whistle, but the natural tendency when you're on the floor is you hear that buzzer go, you stop playing, you slow down a little bit. And Ross is to the left. I'm not sure where the foul was, if it was. So Ross is right there middle of your screen, and now he's backing up. I'm not sure where the foul was on Ross. At the time the whistle was blown, he was nowhere near the play.
Names breeding Tony Henderson. Roger Ayers breeding in Ayers at the monitor right now. You're right, a bit of a perplexing sequence there with the foul being called on Ross.
I mean, he was near Oduro, but the foul was called much later.
Would be Ross's second. It does put Marquette in the double penalty. Be 2 free throws for Providence. And here's another look.
So keep your eye on number 2, middle of your screen. The whistle has not been blown yet. I mean, the whistle was not blown until after Hopkins tipped the ball. There could have been a foul there, but that whistle wasn't blown until much later.
So this is a long discussion here between James Breeding and Shaka Smart. Breeding made a motion with his hand to his face.
Yeah, I didn't see that at all on the replay.
We'll get an explanation.
You're going to call a flagrant foul here.
Here it comes from James Breeding to Donnie. And here is Oduro's at the line. Flagrant, 1 foul call. What do we have?
So the call is Oduro was hit on the chin by Ighodaro, flagrant. So there's going to be 4 free throws being taken by Oduro. Before the common foul, there was a flagrant foul hit to the chin. 13 blue on 13 white.
Ighodaro called for that flagrant 1. Well, Oduro was not able to cash in on the first 2.
It's just interesting that there's no one on the foul line for all 4 of these free throws.
Hits both of those. And now after all of that, with the 4 consecutive free throws for Oduro, because you have a flagrant, Providence will retain possession. So that flagrant foul is what allows them to also retain the possession. That's why nobody was on the line.
Right.
Oduro with 7. Ticket games. And an over the back is now called on Oduro, and Kim English doesn't like it.
At first sight, I agree with it. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it stinks if that is, because that would be Oduro's 5th foul.
It is. He's out.
Let's take a look. Left side of your screen, the left hand in the back. That's a good call. No doubt about it.
And it gives Marquette, both teams now, this will be a 1-and-1 actually for Ighodaro. 19 foul on Providence, last front end, and he hits the first. It gets them within 12. They have 2 timeouts left, 2:44 to go.
Nice job tonight by Josh Oduro, though. 9 rebounds, 10 points, did a nice job on Ighodaro in the second half especially, but all game long. Really played like a veteran.
You talk about what big men have done for this program recently, Nate Watson, Ed Croswell. Well, here's Josh Oduro. So 2:44 to go. Still some time on that clock. And this is a dangerous pass. They threw it away. They throw it away, and the door seems to just crack open a glimpse more with 2:36 left.
Yeah, you should never be in a position of throwing a pass with one hand, a one-handed pass, when you're being pressed.
Kolek. Cam Jones was out of bounds.
I can't stress how many times that happens throughout a basketball season. The floor is the same size in practice as it is in the games. I don't know how that continues to happen to players on that corner. It just amazes me. The NBA, I can understand. It's really tight over there in the corner. Man.
1 second to spare there. They get it over.
So really, Pierre dodges a bullet. Gives one up and they get one back.
Here's the thing. That's not how visitors feel in this building. Carter is fouled. He tried to bring the house down. Norman got him.
You know, those good players just understand how to work that baseline. As Ross turns his head and Carter just sneaks along the baseline. Good pass and really good attacking of the rim.
It bears noting, again, Carter missed Providence's game over the weekend against Sacred Heart with a back injury. But he had entered this one tonight with 3 straight performances of 17-plus points. Tonight he has 22.
And double-figure scoring in every game this season. So he has been consistent. The most consistent player Kim English has had.
Season high tonight. Ighodaro answers, $1:54 left. Shaka Smart uses his second to last timeout. Each team with 1 timeout left. An 11-point game as Kim English will talk through that press break.
Oh, just got to be attention to detail, and you have to. What you have to know is you got to come to the ball. There should be no floated passes. We're not running post routes against a full court press. We're meeting the basketball. We're being strong with it because you know Marquette loves deflections. So be safe with the ball and meet your passes.
While we have a moment, Saturday on Fox Prime Time Hoops. It's a Big East showdown as Rick Pitino and his St. John's team take on Tristan Newton and 5th-ranked UConn. It all tips off Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox.
There's that guy right there, Joel Soriano. Told you 6 double-doubles on the season. I think the only guy with more is Zach Edey in the country.
Bingo.
Yeah, I don't think he gets enough credit for what he's done in his time at St. John's. And he's another one of those guys. Everything kind of revolves around Soriano, and he's one of the toughest big men, not just in the Big East, but in the entire country.
They do break the press here with Pierre finding Carter. Play this out. Down to 10. Hopkins with 7. Back to Carter with 3. To Hopkins to beat the buzzer. He was fouled. Fouled on the arm.
Tell you, very un-Marquette-like all game long, fouling 3-point shooters. I bet you this is the most a Shaka Smart team has fouled a 3-point shooter.
They're reviewing to see if he did get the shot off before the shot clock hit.
I mean, and you got to understand, you're running out a guy who is really struggling from 3.
Ooh.
I mean, we can see it, but John, we can see it, but you know, you got to hear the whistle or see when the ref puts his hand up to acknowledge that there was a foul.
Another one here. And so they do.
Yeah.
Confirm. Shaka Smart was adamant. 3 free throws for Hopkins. Roger Ayers will pay another visit to us. And there you have it. So Hopkins, what a tough tough situation for Marquette.
You know, Shaka Smart is not gonna have to dig deep to show his team that this is just not what they are used to doing. You foul three-point shooters. You know, there's a potential 9 points, 8 maybe, but you know, you're just out of position is really what that tells you. So a lot can be learned even from one game, and I'm sure he'll have a lot to look at with his team this week.
21 fouls by Marquette. And that's the thing. When we talk about Marquette, we talk so much about their motion offense, Donnie, but their defense is a top 20 unit in the country.
Yeah, look, and here's the other thing. They're going to the next team that is going to play just as aggressive on their schedule with Georgetown next.
Kolek off to get that one at home.
But you're going up against the team that's probably similar to what you saw tonight. You're Marquette.
They can taste it now. A standing O as Norman commits the foul.
Hey, what I would still tell people, you do not bet against Shaka Smart and this Marquette team. You know, injuries happen. They didn't have their full complement. Not making excuses for them, but anytime you have a disruption, injury, whatever that might be, and you're a team that works like you're just a fine-tuned machine like Marquette usually is, it sets you back. But if you're not, I always say this, if you're not winning, you're learning.
Trademark that.
You should. T-shirt.
For the Friars, they are right back at home this weekend. We will be here when they take on an upstart Butler Bulldogs team that's 10-2 on the year, Donnie. Missed free throws here late. Cam Jones. And Marquette 4 for 19 from 3. An off-shooting night. And the Golden Eagles just from losing a 5th straight in this building. Ticket games. Tickets for everybody.
I tell you, a lot of teams searching for an identity already in this early season. I think tonight we saw what Providence is. Settled themselves in early in this game, and some guys came up with some big plays.
At Providence, the English era is here. The Friars take down the reigning Big East champs.
Really nice job, well-coached game. Kim English, welcome to the Big East. Players stepped up for him, had some big games from a couple guys, and look at that, largest win versus AP top 10 opponent. This building is so powerful for this team.
That'll do it for us. Providence wins it by 15. For our whole crew and Donnie Marshall, I'm John Fanta. Now let's send you to our LA studios with Rob Stone and Jim Jackson.
John, Donnie, thank you so much, because we're going back to Providence right now. What a way to start one's Big East coaching career. Kim English, nice enough to join us live right now. Rob Stone here with you, Coach. And where did you guys win this one tonight in your estimation?
Well, Marquette and Shaka, they're such a good program, and the bedrock is how hard they play. So we needed to make sure, and especially in our home building, we had to be the harder playing team. I thought both teams battled and competed, but our guys were great tonight.
Coach English, congrats on that first Big East win, as Jimmy Jackson. Coming into this season, the mantra for this program was what? What did you want to lean into in your first year here?
Our mindset, of humility, a mindset of toughness, a mindset of togetherness, and have an elite focus in everything we do, make sure we're mission focused at all times. And we've taken some bumps, bad loss to Kansas State, didn't play well at Oklahoma. But those losses will have been worth it if we gain some things from it and can carry them on to league play in this league, which is a beast.
Coach, you have never lost a Big East game, and you just took down number 6 in the land. I expected a bigger smile from you right now. Are you able to really enjoy this one, or is this the persona that you're trying to relay to your team?
No, it's nothing I'm trying to do. I just know we have Butler coming up on Saturday. So, our guys will enjoy it to midnight. It's always good to win. But we have to regroup, learn from this, and get ready to play a heck of a Butler team on Saturday.
Coach English, congratulations. Welcome to Big East play. Go enjoy that game. You deserve it. But
Thank you, guys. God bless.
It's only
Thank
one
you.
game down. Many more to go in the Big East. Kim English, nice enough to join us live right now. And how good has Providence been at home? How about this one, Jim?
Talk to me.
Over the last 3 seasons, D1 ball, look at that, 40 wins at home. That's more than Texas, more than the guys in Arizona, more than the guys in Kentucky. Did you like his reaction to our